Hey, here's a little disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect those of the MAWP organization. And there are some themes and subject matter that may not be suitable for all audiences, so viewer discretion is advised. Talk. It's possible.
Okay. Problem averted.
That we know of.
What?
That we know of.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Until the ceiling comes in.
I know.
It's a Terminator up there.
We're all trapped in here because it's all collapsed around us. We're like, oh, right. Well, at least we got pot.
Yep.
Won't hurt as bad.
So, before I take a hit of this one, let's introduce the show. Hi, this is the MAWPCAST 1 radio program.
Hi.
And we are your hosts. This is Potter, this is Soundman Chris, and this is Ashley Marie. And we come here every week to, well, I guess I wouldn't say every week because we skipped a week. And then, and this isn't the show that's coming out this week. So, but every week we come here, mostly, time.
Lots of weeks.
Yeah.
There's still lots of weeks to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can go back and listen or watch to other weeks that,
Yes.
you know, you don't need to feel like you're restricted. You don't have to listen to this week, or ever. Or maybe you can, and it doesn't matter what order you listen to it in. There's no real continuity here. Like, if you are going from beginning to end, and you know, in order, then some things will make more sense, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, little tiny things that we talked about might interconnect better.
Some things will never make sense. Like, you don't know some of the people we're talking about.
It's definitely never going to make 100%
There's
sense.
times where I go, what are you guys
Well, that's the
talking
one
about?
thing that we could guarantee. The one thing we could guarantee you is that a lot of it won't make sense.
Yeah.
No.
Sometimes I'll start off in the middle of a conversation and like I myself will go like, what are we talking about? But it doesn't matter because it makes you more intrigued.
Yep.
You know, it's like that Quentin Tarantino in the Pulp Fiction. What's in the briefcase, man? What's in the briefcase? You never know. You'll never know. You guys see any movies? Did you go see Dumbo?
No,
No,
not yet. We
not
did
yet.
see Captain America a couple weeks ago.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
that was right.
That's all right.
We already talked about that, though.
Yeah.
It's okay. She doesn't give her opinion on it. She's a woman. She has a more
I liked
informed
it.
opinion.
I liked the movie, and I like comic books, but there was some scenes at the end where I felt like this whole time she was trying to get away from these bad guys, but then she could go through spaceships. Like,
Well,
why
she-
are you so nervous
She didn't know.
if you can go through
Yeah.
spaceships?
Yeah, she
But then
did-
she figured it out, and she was still nervous, though. That
Well,
was
yeah.
the thing.
Well,
I
it's
was
the
like, why are
same.
you nervous? You just went through, like, 1 billion spaceships. What are you worried about? I mean, you killed them all. Like, you have nothing to worry about.
Oh, son of a bitch.
The way that you described this, though, there's no CD in there.
There's no CD in there.
What a gyp, dude.
Well, it's probably.
Did you pay for it?
Well, it's probably in the CD player at Louis Cheese.
It's great if they just sold you an empty thing, though.
No, I don't pay for these things. They just give them to me.
Do you see where they came from?
It doesn't say.
No.
Like I said.
Unless someone knows where the Lion's Den studio is.
Well, that's where it was recorded. That's got
Yeah,
nothing to do
but
with where it's
That's
at.
probably where they're most comfortable.
No. That's got nothing to do with it. You can make up stuff all you want, but that's not it.
I try to make sense of the nonsense.
It's all right. So do I.
Wow, that was loud.
That was loud.
Glad that microphone works.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to be an artist and go out of state to a studio.
Well, you go to where
I mean,
who does the best recording, who
I
does
guess,
the best
yeah,
mixing,
that
the
makes
best
sense.
mastering.
That makes sense.
It was more common in the old days, like in the late 80s and early 90s. A lot of bands I knew would think they had to go to LA to work with the good engineer and
Yeah.
producer. And people did. Like, good for instance is the Rhino Humpers went there to cut some demos. I think maybe even 2 different times. Or at least one time they went there, and one time a guy from LA came up to work with them. And it was because they wanted a level of
LA sound,
professionalism and a name and certain things to get attention. And all these things at a certain point really start to matter.
Yeah.
And Seattle started to get some of these too, and especially after the hair rock died and the grunge scene emerged, then Seattle really had a name for itself with guys like Jack and Dino and certain recording studios that were in the area.
Bob Rock.
Bob Rock was not from here, though.
Oh no, he was from East Coast.
Is Bob Rock not Canadian? Or maybe I'm not.
Oh, you're right.
I'm not right. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if I'm right at all. I said that, but
I want to say that he is, but I want to say he's from like the East Coast.
Well, see, I would have. You know, we're
Saskatchewan?
probably both wrong.
We're probably both wrong.
Point is.
Here, let's find out.
I know that he produced a couple of Tragically Hip records, and I don't know why they would be produced by him.
That's such a good band.
They're really good, yeah.
Where is Bob Rock from?
I wonder if Google really knows who Bob Rock is.
Winnipeg.
I was right. Wow.
Well,
I'm sometimes very surprised when I'm right because, well, I started to second guess myself right away, but that was the tie-in that he recorded Tragically Hip, and why? Like, and I always ask myself why, because it bothered me. But he didn't do a bad job, and he doesn't do a bad job. Like, he produces some really good things, but he's also kind of often marks a drastic change in a band. When a band goes to Bob Rock, then they become a very polished, like, very commercial thing. Like with Motley Crue, didn't he produce a couple of Motley Crue records? And with those records, then they became something, and that's where he really made his big name, and then went on to ruin other things like Metallica. And
Yes, I will agree with that.
yes.
They were really good live. Metallica was.
They probably were, and they had a huge history of being a great live band. Like, that was part of, like, even people would say they didn't translate as well to their recordings, which I love their recordings. Their old recordings were really, really good, but I could see what they're saying, and I understand, because this was impressed upon me again recently. I've always known it. There is a drastic difference between a live recording or a live performance and a studio recording, and it's very hard to capture the essence of a band live.
Yes.
Like, I was talking about it, that I won't talk about the band in particular, but there is a band that I listened to on one of the recent shows, and them live was so different, and yet there was the differences were subtle, but it was just there was so much more soul in their live performances, and just something was lost in the recording. Yeah, recording's tricky.
Yeah. When we were at the Metallica concert, and I was like, wow, we're seeing Metallica, and I was watching the performance, but I didn't feel like I was really at Metallica until they actually just shut it down and decided to sing Fade to Black very slowly and more like their album, and I felt more connected at that point, because everything else was just a lot different than what you would think Metallica.
Well, it was all show.
All show, yeah. So
I mean, it was all.
Yeah. That was really my only Metallica. Oh my god, this is Metallica moment for me.
Because when I loved about seeing Metallica is seeing.
Sounds like there's a bird in the. I think there's a bird in there.
Oh, I think there is now too.
There's a bird. Yeah, there's birds.
That's crazy.
That's it. Figured it out.
Or something going on up
it
and around.
It might be
there.
in that little hole. It just probably went up there.
Well, no, there's that vent.
That's a brand new vent.
Yeah, that was put there very recently, and so I assume that up top there's something also.
Most likely.
See, that was actually put in here in part because of us. Because I'm just assuming, because there's been some talk of, like, it smells like weed. Like, all over the place.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, that could be us.
Us, and the fact that everybody that comes in here smokes weed.
Yeah, but there's like, I
But
don't
there's
know.
jars of weed here all the time. I know
No,
it's
I'm
not just yours.
Hey man, no one's attacking you.
I know.
He's getting
I know.
so defensive.
I'm just saying.
It's just weed, man. It's okay.
I know, man.
Take a hit.
It's legal, man. It's legal. Get off my back.
Some people, I get weird about it.
I'm medical and I do what I want.
get weird about it when I'm at restaurants and stuff because I just don't want to be that person. I don't know. But Chris says, what do you mean that person? You just don't want to smell like it sometimes. I just don't want to smell like it all the time.
I forget, like I sit in like this room or my room that is small and just reek like weed and don't think about it.
Yeah.
And occasionally I think about it, like, but it's generally not. So
Yeah.
and there's been times where like the time I had like a pound of weed and I was on a bus.
That sounds right.
Or I was walking like literally right by the library and the police station, like with that pound of weed, and like a canine unit drove by and the dog's just freaking the fuck out.
Yep.
Just fucking trying to get out of the car as they're driving by. I was like, oh, I should just not be walking around.
With a pound of weed in my bag, yeah.
Probably not the best idea.
Yeah. Yeah, we had talked before about how I didn't go and work on a pot farm in Hawaii, but later on in life I actually did, for a brief period of time, spend a month or so helping someone out on one, which was a fantastic, fun experience. Because a lot of things in life I would do just for experience, and one of the things I didn't do was do that earlier in life. But when I was in a situation where I was like, I'm very comfortable and I don't have any risk really in this situation, so I'm going to go and do it just to have this kind of very surreal Cheech and Chong kind of thing. And that's what it was. Like, it was just ridiculous. Like, everything about it was ridiculous. And then a lot of it ended up becoming even more just crazy, where I hardly knew the person who I was going to work with. It was a sister of someone who I was dating. And I'd only met this woman once or twice, maybe. And I had some knowledge in the field, but sporadic knowledge spread throughout years and in different areas of growing. So I didn't know a ton intensely, but it turned out I knew a wide variety of a lot of things. I ended up becoming very handy and indispensable in this situation. So this woman was going through a lot during this period of time. She had just lost her sister. She had just lost her boyfriend. They had died in different separate situations, and so she was had this big giant crop. And the year before, the market had dropped out of the weed in California, and they were lacking. The money that they were getting from their pounds was drastically reduced, so they're losing tons of money. It was a big industry shaking year. But then so this woman, in response to that, was growing a lot more. She was trying to counter that and grow an abundance of high quality strains, but a ton to compensate for the loss of the last year's revenue. Well, this next year, the market rebounded, so she had ended up having a ton more than she could handle, and also the prices had rebounded, so it was a boon. But she was going through all this stuff, and she needed some help, so I went down there to help her, and she was stressed out, so she ended up dropping me off at her place and then leaving for a couple of days.
She was like, I just need a fucking break.
Yeah. So I got dropped off on a farm without knowing anything. I didn't know where I was. I was isolated on this hill with a lot of other farms around me, and it was just I wasn't left with any hardly instructions at all. It was just no one should come. It was that was about it. But during that time of just being there, I just got acquainted with the thing and started doing some stuff, and so had a good foot in. By the time she did get back, she was like, "Oh, you know what you're doing." yeah, I know what I'm doing. It's all fine. And then it rained, and it rained early this year, and the rain ruins weed, just ruins
Yes,
it.
it does,
And
very much.
so there was a panic throughout the whole region because it was raining early, and people were losing grapes and they were losing their weed harvests. And so there was a panic to get it back in. So all these people started coming in. All of a sudden, the place was flooded with people that were coming into work and bringing all these plants and try to salvage them from the impending mold, which weren't able to entirely do. We couldn't get all of that taken care of. Couldn't get it in and drying fast enough to subdue the mold. And there was so much to get in and deal with that there had to be other ways of accommodating it. So there was some containers, some shipping containers, like the backs of trucks, or the things that they put on ships. And so they had a couple of these on the property, and so they started putting weed in those, and then trying to get humidifiers and dehumidifiers and heat and fans and all this stuff to get it going. But the containers were horrible for the weed. Like some of the weed in the back of those went and just fucking
shriveled up instantly. Yeah.
So ended up losing a portion of the crop. Now she had overcompensated so much that didn't matter. Like it was tragic and sad, but but there was a point later on, a couple weeks in, where so much of that moldy weed was all collected, and then I had to burn it. I had to make a fire, a big fucking pit, like bigger than that drum set over there, pile of weed burning, and it was like the top of a cigarette, just cherry up, and the wind would blow, and it would, just like it would inhale it, and then fucking just in this billowing pile of smoke, this cloud. Oh, it was just this craziest, surrealist scene you've ever seen. And I was
seagulls flying in and out, big and all.
Seagulls, but I was throwing just fucking
seagulls.
bags and bags of weed on this thing, pounds of it, pounds and pounds, bags, because the bags were like these. Most of the dry weed were also kept in these big paper,
like laundry type huge bags.
They were tall, like as tall as me, and
like yard waste bags.
Yeah,
and shit,
kind of. There was a lot of other great stuff going on there. Like we took the screen door off to put the weed on, and then and then collected the keef from underneath.
Yeah.
Like so, we'd work with the weed on the screen door, and then all this keef would just pile up, and there's piles of it. Piles. Like I had, I put a film container, and I was able to fit a 1/4 ounce of keef into a film container.
Nice.
Yeah.
Score.
Yeah. I just kept packing it, and that's how much it ended up being. I was like, wow, well, now you know how much keef can fit in a film container.
A lot.
Yeah.
And that's...
Yeah, we're going to start growing soon. It's that season.
Yeah, I gotta get my license again. It expires in 2 days. So I get my license, and then I gotta get a air hammer.
What's an air hammer?
Something like a miniature jackhammer, kind of.
Are you sure it's not a sledgehammer?
Well, no, it's got to be more specific in a certain area and stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, that's that way because putting the plants into the soil where I live is way better because it's in the valley, so it's way better soil. And the ones that I put in the ground got like 12 feet tall. I mean, it was ridiculous. So they went up and they all bent over and stuff. So, well, I'm going to do it the same way, but I'm going to put 1 or 2 plants in each hole and then to split them off. Because the holes, I mean, it's like infinity length for them to grow. So I don't have to worry about them being too close together. Because I kept them too close together in the beginning and then to split them off, pull one off one way, pull one off the other way. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to get 2 more holes in the ground, and then I'm going to have 8 plants, in 2 in each hole. And then a couple in 5-gallon buckets and stuff. So,
yeah. Yeah, I haven't grown any for some time.
And I have to learn how to crop them too, to top them and keep them low and stuff. That's the trick that I never really got good at that. So I got to figure out a better way to do that.
You have to teach me this year how to do it.
Part of the trick is simply accepting it. It's like I should do this. I should do it. I should hurt this plant.
Yep, I know. That's how I get.
I should take this really pretty part off. This part that like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But
it makes me want to cut it off and then immediately put it in some other stuff to let it grow and stuff. So.
Well, you could.
I know. I'm gonna try that.
God, we would have so many.
Was helping someone last year, and a couple of their plants had shot up because they're outside, and they got a little too spindly, and then moving a couple created one of them to break, and it was a big plant, and a lot of things broke apart, but ended up being able to save every part of it. So, then ended up with a bunch more extra plants.
Nice.
No idea where we are on the show because we don't set up clocks because we're
about
not
a half
professionals.
hour in.
No,
Jeez.
we're not
No,
that.
we are. I've been checking the clock.
Since
Half hour.
started recording, it's
8
possible.
minutes until it's a half hour.
Oh, it's 32 minutes.
Well, she's right.
She's right. Wow. All right, we got a secretary on
Yep.
thing.
You're hired.
Yep, you're hired.
I can be the clock.
There is no pay. But,
No,
all right.
that's okay.
It's all right.
What do you mean there's no pay for volunteering?
Free is fun.
Oh, do you got a lighter?
Yeah.
My lighter's in the van, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With the
someone
keys in
left
it.
the keys in the ignition.
Fuck.
He said, "I've been waiting to lock the door." Sure,
I know.
been waiting
I know.
to get your keys.
I know. Don't remind.
I'm sorry. I have to give you a little bit of a hard time.
Oh, I know it's a drag, but it's not going to be a big deal. It's all
No,
gonna
Potter's gonna go in there and he's gonna get those keys.
I might have a hanger handy, and even if not, like that window looks like it can pop pretty.
Yeah. Well,
What, the little
they've
wing
got,
windows?
Like 100
Yeah.
things in my hand.
You have to push a button.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Then I'm wrong.
Can I have that?
Hers you might not have to.
See, hers that was the one I was looking at, and I was like,
Yeah,
"This is
hers-
it's almost even open."
Yeah, hers you might not have to. But yeah, if we get that wing window open up, my arms are skinny, your arms are skinny, we get them in there. I'm just frustrated because it's not something that I do. I don't lock my keys in.
Everybody has.
I know.
okay.
I don't necessarily either, but it happened to me like 4 times in a month once. Like, I was like, wow.
I always lock myself out of our house, and I subconsciously know not to take those keys, and I do it anyways, and I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. There's always someone home. And then the one time that I bring the wrong set of keys, no one's home.
Oh.
And then I go, why do I do this to myself? I should have just tried to find the other key. I mean, but now I'm going to sit out here for hours because I decided not to take 10 minutes to look for the other key.
Oh, yeah. So they'll just happen. Things that you can't explain. Well, I was giving that all to you. I was going to load her own. But
Well, we'll just share. We'll share the next one. It's better on my throat anyways this way. I know, I just need to get, because it takes 2 keys in my van to drive it. It takes, one to get the door open and then one for the ignition. So I'm just going to get a couple extra door keys made and place them, duct tape them somewhere on the van and stuff.
Well, lessons learned, I'm going to have a spare key for the house and for the van. But when you're by yourself, you're on your own.
Oh, yeah, I'll figure that out. That ain't no big deal. I think it's time to play some music. What do you think, people?
So
Yep.
too, yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
here's some
I'm ready.
Mico de Noche. That's what we'll start today off with, I think.
All right.
We're gonna get out tonight. nights are colder, you need a shoulder to guide those tears from drowning you. You can always rely on me to be there for you. Through the cold and through the rain, I'll stand beside you. I don't care where you may be, I'll always find you. Life will get you in the dumps, gotta pick yourself up. Lotus flower in the dark, rising towards the bright sun. Merge out of your cocoon and take flight up to the sky. Spread your wings and fly high into the universal side. Hey, hey, yeah, wipe that frown off your face. Take my warm embraces. Feel better. Hey, yeah, it's gonna be a good day. Positive thoughts your way and it'll be alright, alright. Life will get you in the dumps, gotta pick yourself up. Lotus flower in the dark, rising towards the bright sun. Merge out of your cocoon and take flight up to the sky. Spread your wings and fly high into the universal side. Yeah, yeah, wipe that frown off your face. Take my warm embraces. Feel better.
city in constant night. They never sleep, and that's their plight. They turn in circles as they swim, round and round, together again. In the sea they all swim, swim, swim. Over the city they circle, they circle. In the dark, in the dark, they swim, they swim.
Too humid.
Humidity. That
That-
like,
that-
I
I
was
hate
gonna ask
that.
why you might not like it, and that
Yeah.
would be the reason
Yeah,
why.
yeah.
Yeah, I hate it.
The humidity is
Oh, you've been there
horrid.
before?
No, I hate
I
the
have.
humidity.
I've been
Well,
there.
in
I've been
Hawaii,
there, yeah.
it was like someone said it would be similar, and
Hawaii
had
was
some
nothing like it.
But it had some
Nothing like
humidity.
it. Hawaii
But-
was awesome.
But see, I couldn't even handle that humidity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can only
Florida,
imagine.
Literally, you
Florida.
could take a shower, dry off, and walk outside.
Ugh.
And as you're opening the door, you feel moisture. You
Gross.
feel the moisture on you, and it's just
like you're in a rainforest.
And then there's toll bridges. Well, not toll bridges, but toll booths.
Troll bridges?
Toll booths everywhere.
Okay.
I literally, and this was my my first time with Amy. My first mistake. But from my hotel, I could open the door and look across these 4-lane highway thing to a convenience store. It was 7-Eleven-ish, like store, right? But there's no crosswalks or anything because it's highway and stuff. But you can see it. It's the only way to get to it is to drive there. Cost me $7 to drive across the fucking street because I had to go through 2 toll booths. Then I had to go through 4 on the way back because I got lost. and at the 3rd toll booth, I just said, I'm done paying tolls. I said, I'm done. I just said, I literally am going across the street and I'm having to pay like 20-some bucks to go across the street. And she goes, oh. Yeah, and she got it. She totally understood because, she knew exactly where I was going to and stuff. I guess she's been through that before or whatever. And so she gave me this card for the next 2. For
now
the
you
next
give it to
2.
me. Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, for the next 2. And I was just like,
Not to interrupt
And I
you,
kept it and I tried to use
but
it again, but it didn't
The
work.
birds are squawking. They're squawking up there. I can hear them. There has to be like at least like 2 or something. They're talking.
Well, they're trying to get in our podcast.
They're like really talking up
They
there.
made a
I can
mess.
hear them. Like,
That's probably it. It's probably a mess. Oh, it is spring.
You
I
know?
think they might have a nest or something
Yeah,
up there because
so you
it's
gotta-
safe.
You gotta be hearing all sorts of stuff, but man,
You're gonna
those
be
little
hearing some
babies
weird
are gonna
shit.
not like that fucking drum set. Once they hear that, they're gonna go, maybe this is a bad idea.
Well, they probably already heard it. The mom probably just goes over the babies and is like, you know,
No, they
covers
ain't gonna
their
do
ears.
nothing because it's coming from underneath.
Well, you know.
Oh, I don't know. That could be
But I mean, they probably don't. They don't even have eggs yet. They can't have eggs.
I don't know.
Because
There's
if
something
they
talking
just,
up there.
well, yeah, they're probably constructing it or doing
yeah.
something.
It is that time of year where they would be like, okay, it's time to build a nest
Yeah.
so that we can lay the
Yeah.
eggs so that they can hatch and blah 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 blah. So yeah.
But they'll know shortly that it's
Yeah.
probably not a good idea because they'll. Yeah, because I mean, with that being new, they may not even have been through a practice yet. So once they're through a practice, then they're gonna go
Yeah.
That's what a Gibson sounds like through a Marshall. No, wait, no, that's a Mesa. That's a Mesa. Yep. We can't stay here.
There's no place to raise our kids.
No place to raise our kids. Oh, and that's a Gibson through a what? An Ampeg too. That's Gibson, yeah. Yeah, that's a Gibson through an Ampeg bass amp. Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad. And I think I know that guy who plays it too. Yeah, we ain't gonna have no quiet here.
So, you guys have any plans to see the Dumbo movie?
Yes, we really
Yes.
want to see it. But we're kind of just broke at the moment.
I saw this preview and I'm like, it was much more believable to see an elephant fly when it was a cartoon because he looks so heavy. Like he just looks like it's like those ears aren't going to support that weight.
He's a big boy. He'll try, but his body will just, keep him down.
Well, I mean, cartoons are way lighter.
Yeah, way lighter.
Like
Yeah,
almost weigh nothing.
Yep.
By comparison to like a real
Yes.
elephant. Yeah.
about as much as a little sheet of plastic, clear
But
plastic.
that was my favorite movie, though, when I was a kid. And
Yeah.
I remember going to Disneyland, and my dad couldn't fit in the Dumbo ride. And I was forced to go by myself, and I was really nervous about it, and I was crying. But it was Dumbo. And I was like, I have to do this.
Yes.
I have to get on this ride. And I'm like, "Ah." But then once I got on there, it was pretty good.
Right.
But, yeah.
And you
loved
did it
everything.
solo. You did it like
I did it
awesome.
solo, without my dad.
That's
I
badass.
was pretty proud of myself.
Yep,
Yeah.
right on.
I mean, I shouldn't have been that scared for being like 7.
Yeah.
You know,
You shouldn't
but
have been, but-
it's okay. Yeah, that was my Disney experience. I didn't go on a lot of things.
It's the. I'm pretty sure I will not see this movie unless it just is forced upon me somehow. But the cartoon was a pretty good cartoon. It wasn't necessarily my favorite, but it was also super sad. It's not as sad as like Bambi, because let's face it, like he gets his mom back at the end, like of Dumbo. But
No,
like,
Bambi, no,
Bambi, that
that's
was
just
sad.
like, yeah.
That was a tearjerker.
and that really is a twist for a Disney movie that for as sad and dark as Dumbo is, his mom doesn't die. Like they don't go and kill her. You know.
All the other ones, if you really look into them, they're pretty horrid.
Yeah, well, Lion King was already messed up within 20 minutes
Oh
of the
yeah,
movie.
I know. Yeah,
Gosh,
most of them start
started
out.
off really strong.
Yeah.
They're making a Pinocchio.
Oh, I want to see that.
I don't know how I feel about it. Like, because
It's got an R rating.
the new ones, they're not.
I'm
no.
joking.
So I'm like, I will see that. I don't care.
Ashley's even more wanting to say, "Oh, there's got to be something
There's
good
got to
now."
be something really wrong with it.
Well, okay, so there are a lot of stories like that Disney uses that are like public domain stories. So, like, you could do an interpretation of Pinocchio or Snow White or things like this, but they just can't have anything that Disney's used that is like kind of copyrighted by them. Now but I said you can use stuff that's from the source material, but not stuff that they created. Anything they created, and this is why we get different iterations of things with a lot of new story in them. The Alice in Wonderland that came out some time ago, that didn't follow the Alice in Wonderland story. It was more of like a sequel, And
Yep.
so
Yeah.
the reason being is that they are creating a new property. They're not making the same thing. They're creating something new, which you can do. But by creating something new, then it's yours. The licensing, the merchandising, and stuff like that. It's based off of those characters, but it's not the same. Now, there's no one to pay out royalties to on old stuff like that either. Like that's not under a copyright. So it's also why Disney's so great at branding things is that once it's Disneyfied, it's Disney's. It's hard to make something that competes with that. Like, like there's a Jungle Book, and they're both actually very similar. There's the Jungle Book that we saw in the theaters not so long ago, and then there's Gollum did his own Jungle Book. The guy, whatever his name is, who played Gollum. And that ended up going to Netflix. It was going to be a movie, but Disney beat them to get their movie out, and so there's a different adaptation of Jungle Book on Netflix that you can watch if you've not seen it. And it's probably a much darker interpretation because there's no, for instance, Disney has songs in there. Yeah, which is that they created those songs, and so through them creating those songs, and interjecting those songs into their old one, like our mind goes to those songs, like so, and we identify with them with that whole thing. It's very, very brilliant. They're very good at what they do.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cricket, cricket,
Yeah,
cricket,
that's
cricket.
I'm done rambling.
Yeah, what's next?
I don't know. I haven't. I'm just. I wing it, and I'm so.
I really wish I didn't drink a whole coffee. Because there's no way I'm peeing over there.
There are bathrooms in relative close proximity, but you're not knowing your way around there. I wouldn't know how to.
I'm limited.
But there's a bathroom at Freight House Square and across the street at the bus thing, and those are the two closest.
Yeah. That's okay. I'll make it for a while.
We can speed the show along.
No, you're fine. I think you guys are right on track.
Feels like it. Well, it depends on where we are. You're the one in charge of time, Ashley,
Yeah.
Well, it's only been about 15 minutes.
since we came back.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long. You got a little bit more time.
I know, I'm still mentally unlocking my van.
I know Potter's gonna be able to do it. It'll be fine.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to think, because the thing to unlock it, to pull up, is smooth, so you can't get that with any type of hook. And I don't know if you pull the handle, if that actually makes the door open or not. I don't think it does. I think you have to pull that up. So if we open up the wing window,
It's okay.
we're going to have to
we'll figure
hook
it.
the keys. Somehow, I think.
Don't you have?
Oh, wait, if we open up the
if
wing
the
window,
wing
we can unlock the thing.
If the wing window's open, I can reach in there.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
But
We'll get it done.
I know,
We'll get
I know,
it done.
I know, I know.
Stop
I
being
know.
a stress. This is a non-stressful environment, and you
All right, here,
are
give me that. That'll
Yeah.
help.
creating a stress orb.
we need to stop instructing our listeners how to break into vehicles.
This is a legal activity. Jeez, come on, Christopher.
Hey, now.
I've got into vehicles every kind of way because for some reason or another, I or someone that I know has locked stuff in their vehicles, and I mean it's literally gone everywhere. I remember being with the chick one night at the North End, some bar, and we were a little loaded, and she was just like, I was like, we can get in there. I mean, all I need is a coat hanger. It's not a problem. And she just didn't even hesitate. She's like, fuck it. And she picked up a rock, smashed the window out. It's like, all right. You know?
That's what I would have done too. I know patience.
I wouldn't. Not on that van.
She regretted it hardcore when she had to replace that window. She picked the worst window on her vehicle to break.
Oh, thinking that, this is small and tiny, this will be easy. No, don't get the small and tiny one.
No.
The best one is just a side window, the whole thing, the whole door window. That's,
even that, like trying to reset a window sometimes is not the easiest thing to do, especially if you have no knowledge of doing it. Then it's really, really like, and you know,
it's a pain in the ass.
More likely, like if you're just some jackass trying to reset your window, then it's never going to work again, or not work right. It'll roll. You'll be spinning the thing, and it'll roll halfway up, and then it'll stop. What the fuck? It's so
well, first thing, get all the glass out.
Yeah. Well, that is the first thing.
Put it in an angle, and then slide it flat. If you try to just put it flat, it's never gonna work. Got to put it at an angle,
Well, thanks
and
for
then
telling
turning
me,
it sideways.
Because I know if I was by myself and I needed to get in the car.
No, that's how you put the glass in.
Oh.
Breaking it is put a rock through it.
Just put it. Which window was it again?
The actual side window. Never do a little tiny window thinking that'll be easiest.
Okay.
No, those are the hardest ones to put in.
Okay.
So they're going to be the most.
Yeah.
So
Well,
don't.
like a window that doesn't open. A window that does not open is fucking hard
those.
to fucking replace.
Yeah.
It was getting the seal, getting the window replacement. Like you know, because first you have to go to pull apart and get it out of a car, or order it from
And
the
that makes
factory.
you understand. Oh, now I know why not to do this. Just getting it out.
Yeah.
You'll break it.
Yeah, or order it from the factory, and it's like $600 for that little window because that's the one that everyone needs. Because that's the one.
Because that's what
what
everybody thinks is going to be the easiest and cheapest. Nope.
That's a gross exaggeration, but it's like
No, that's really not a
Well-
gross exaggeration. I've seen them cost even more than that. Especially if they're tinted, factory tin or anything like that. Like her little freaking car. It's got factory tin on these little side windows that I just want to bust them out because they're stupid.
I did not have a choice in the vehicle. I only had to pick what color I wanted. That was it. Yeah. They're like, this is the only car you're going to get. And I didn't even want to look at it because I knew it was going to be a piece of crap. And it's a piece of crap. Yeah. And you can't drive it and you can't see in it. And,
Well, the window placement's just terrible. And it's just, they're trying to make it strong by putting big structure on the sides and stuff. And it's like, oh, well, that's a bunch of big structure that I can't see through.
And it's not even strong because when you're on the freeway going maybe 55, you feel like you're going to fly off the damn freeway. It feels like a kite in the wind.
It's sad and scary at the same time.
Yeah, it's very bad. I don't like it. When I had my Camry, actually, I drove that thing going like 85. I love that little Camry. But this car, I can't even go 60. It's awful. I guess it's not too awful. I don't get any speeding tickets or anything. I've been pulled over since.
They might have known what they're doing, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, is it dying?
That's that one.
Yeah, that one dies at about an hour.
It died. Oh, it's that one.
That one looked like it slid. It's kind of at a crazy angle.
Well, that one's beeping.
Yeah.
That was done.
It might have slid and become at a crazy angle. But that's all right.
Because look at that.
We will replace it with this one. As we go to...
music.
Yeah, time for music. We'll just... we're gone. We're at music now. Goodbye. We'll be back.
Bye-bye.
We're the ones who created them, at least the alpha model.
Breaking out the windows, rip apart the dryer, knocking down the walls, cutting all the wires, busting out the brake lights, slitting all the tires, drop bombs in the circle, fucking up the cipher, ripping out the gas tank, stealing all the fuel, stomping through the farmlands, polluting all the food, breaking down the gates, let 1 million cows loose, tipping over whole trains, engine to caboose, bending all the tracks, rip apart the roads, knocking down the bridges, just one stroke, down at the docks, crushing all the boats, taking over bases in the military posts, damage to the dams, flood towns and lands, taking out the rest of the power plants, spoiling all the fresh food, smashing all the cans, put a wrench in the gears, fucking up the plans.
Forward Commando. No enemy can destroy him. He takes orders from no one. He's looking for you.
Vacate the factories, ending all the industry. No more manufacturing, no fucking sympathy. No more gifts underneath the Christmas tree. Snatching all the ammo and the guns from the infantry. Blasting all the glass out the skyscrapers. Blowing up semi-trucks with the fucking laser. Stomping out stadiums, melting all the glaciers. Flooding all the coastlines, meet Mother Nature. Trash all the chain stores, no more consumerism. Stopping Mac and Microsoft, vaporized computer system. Knocking down the jails, out comes the whole prison system. Hella fucking felons know there's gonna be some friction. Dead the internet and whoever invented it. Bulldoze the forest and the animals up in the shit. Crush anything and everything that resist a kid. Ain't no way to stop the robots, ain't finna quit.
Are here from the planet Zero, the Zeroids. Zirak, the Zeroid commander. Soboy, the Zeroid transporter. Zintar, the Zeroid explorer, change his Zeroid capsule into a lunar sled. Command the Zeroids to defend. Move forward, backward, and transport.
Your needs, my needs, with these plants a little seed, set forth the best you can, raise a little man, first one, second one, third one, time to make a change, this man, that man, next man, this is not the man. Step aside, I love you forever. But sometimes you confuse me. You let them abuse me. But as long as you felt secure, everything I know, I learned from you. Relationship lasted so long, and now it's time to move on. The fear inside of me causes me to separate. The fear inside of me causes me to hate. Well, as the time passes, well, it's too late. Well, as the time passes, well, it's too late. Activate, relate, separate, annihilate. I hate this small thing. Break the wedding ring. Now the fear inside of me causes me to separate. The fear inside of me causes me to hate. Well, as the time passes, well, it's too late. As the time passes, well, it's too late.
have been an alien today.
I know. I thought about it, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because then I'd be stuck out there trying to break into my van.
I would have loved it. I would have been out there in my Chewbacca outfit, and they would have been like, "Where are you guys headed?"
It's like, what
Like,
the fuck's going on here?
You guys have issues. That's why your keys are locked in your van. Welcome to Tacoma. It's the reason we drink.
Tacoma, the reason we drink. They should make shirt out of that.
Oh, they already did.
Oh, damn.
They
Really?
beat you to it.
Most alcohol-related shirts that you could conceive associated with Tacoma have been made. Yeah, they're out there.
The old Hell's Kitchen or something like that, or whatever it was called.
165,000 drunks can't be wrong.
Something like that. They made that. That's why they drink.
Oh.
165,000 drunks can't be wrong. Got a point there.
Yeah, I don't know what the
place was
population
crazy.
is now. But that is an old one. That's why I'm dating myself by saying that. But that used to be like what was associated with Tacoma. So whatever the population is now, ask Alexa or Google or whatever.
That's how many drunk people there are.
Alexa, how many drunk people are in Tacoma?
Well, Potter. No.
What is the population of Tacoma, Washington?
265,000. It's 265,000.
As of 2017,
Dang.
213,418 alcoholics.
Yes.
What? Olympia?
Oh my God, they're squealing up there.
Yeah, I hear them now.
You
Got
heard it?
headphones on, yeah.
Sound like a whale.
Hey! We're doing a podcast down here, you little birds!
Jesus.
You'll get your turn.
Be nice. They're just trying to chill
I
out.
know.
I think the weed makes them tired.
Weeds are going on. Hey, this place getting better and better and better.
I love this place. That's why they can handle the music. 'Cause they're stoned.
Yeah, probably.
Unless it's stuck in there.
That's really sad. I
That's
don't
all
want to think of
fucked
it
up.
that way. I want
That
to
was that was my first
that
thought.
they're having
It
a
might be-
party
but-
up there.
But no, it's more than likely not the case. 'Cause
I think there's an open space up
yeah,
there.
yeah. If there was something stuck in there, it would be a constant horrible,
Oh, yeah.
horrible.
Yeah,
fucking-
they just keep doing it
No.
here and
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. They're coming and going, building a nest. That's exactly what they're doing. Stupid.
Those
brats.
assholes.
It would be great to get a camera up there, though.
Yep.
See what they're doing.
Yeah.
See how they live. How they interact.
See what's really going on.
Oh, dude, yeah, we could feed a camera up there.
You should. That'd be such an interesting video to watch.
Have it constantly going as we're doing the show.
I love it. See them talking to each other.
Go to the bird cam.
Let's go to the bird camp.
Let's go see Jerry and Linda up there.
When you were in Hawaii, that's what I wanted to do. Is let's go to Chris in Hawaii and talk to Chris in Hawaii and talk to him.
He took a lot of fish videos.
Yeah.
There was
Well, see,
a lot.
that's what I'm saying. When we do stuff like that, we have to come up with like a script of some sort. It's so much
I sent you
easier
one.
for me to do it. Oh, I know, but I was having issues with my videos were too long. I couldn't send anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, the
Gotcha.
only way I could do it is just plug it into your thing. And, so yeah.
I got you.
But what we'll do is next time we'll just come up with the script. Then I could just plot them all out, and then we could do it like a week after the fact. Because yeah, 'cause I could just take the GoPro and fucking Velcro it to me.
We do have free zoo tickets. We can go back to the zoo.
What are you tripping on?
Or some.
It's the freaking birds, babe.
No,
It's birds.
no. It was electronic noise.
It's electric.
Oh, frizzling? Frazzling?
Yeah, kind of.
I heard that in my headphones too, but I think it was my headphones. So I just think that these headphones are wonky.
No, It was something weird.
You just want to argue with everyone.
Yeah.
I think you do today. You're argumentative.
Well,
It's the keys.
You need to drink more tea, and you need to stop worrying about your band.
No, I'm the man of.
You're
the man.
Chris. You are.
You're the man.
Finish what
You're the man.
I'm the man of information that you don't want to deal with. I guess.
I know things, babe.
Okay, sir.
Still
chill out, though.
I used to have a sweater. You remember my sweater?
Oh yeah.
It wasn't my sweater. That was
It was a community sweater.
well.
Everybody had it for a little while.
It started off like this. I didn't used to have a sweater. I had a sweatshirt.
Yep.
You guys want to smoke some weed?
Then we got the cardigan.
When I was in junior high, I hung out with a bunch of kids who we were getting into a little bit of some fashionable clothes at this particular moment in junior high, the turn of 9th grade, and we did a little creative endeavors and shoplifting and stuff like this and buying of stuff, but we kind of
acquiring
many
measures.
Like, this group of kids and I exchanged clothes a lot. Like, so part of the deal was we kind of needed to get clothes that fit everybody, and so I would end up getting pants that were way too big for me, and I would have to wear a belt. But this helped me steal booze from like convenience stores, so there was that upside to it. And then in this whole thing, everyone would get their own items of clothing that were just theirs. And they were like, this is mine. This is my thing. And then other people would get stuff that was community stuff. And so the stuff would exchange, and then we'd all have a much bigger wardrobe because of it. We were super stylish. And I got a sweatshirt. It was a big, baggy, black, oversized sweatshirt. And it had patches all over it. That's how it came. It looked like those suitcases that had been through all over the world. Yeah.
It was awesome. It was fabulous.
Yeah, it was a cozy brand, COSI. Super fucking rad. And then at time it got worn in, a little faded, and it was just rad. The holes poked through were my thumbs, and just everything about it was great. I could stick stuff in the sleeves.
You loved it.
I loved it. And so did everyone else.
Everyone
else loved it too. Because this wasn't on the table. This wasn't something that was on the table for us to be borrowing.
This is something that you had to scheme and connive and
this predates even knowing Chris. This goes back to junior high, so like 1986, 87. And
but that sweater goes up to there too, even.
Well, so I had the sweatshirt and all
or
these
was
kids.
it a different one?
Well, we'll get to this.
Oh, okay.
So I had the sweatshirt and all these kids in my group would get a hold of it and just like, it's theirs now. Like, and I mean, we could go back in time and find pictures of like my different friends wearing this sweatshirt and how proud they are to have it because they've got it and they're like, it's mine now. But I would be like, no, and I'd have to get it back one way or another. Just coercion, persuasion, whatever.
Breaking in,
get it. Go to their house. Like, I got to go to your house. I got to use your bathroom, dude. Got to use your bathroom. Got to use your bathroom. Got it. And then I get in there. That thing. Like, it's mine. So, and this phenomenon continued because I ended up going to Rogers later on. I went to Spanaway Lake with these kids, but then later on I changed schools, went to Rogers, got a whole different group of friends, dropped out of school, got a whole different group of friends. And everywhere I went, this phenomenon of like, that's a great sweatshirt. And then they used to do a sweatshirt. And it continued and continued until our friend Tim, we've talked about Tim on the show briefly, Tim Sullivan, crazy creepy Tim. He's since spun out and lost his way, went to prison for a while, and was just all whacked out on drugs. He was a troubled kid, but Tim was also a lot of fun and funny, and he's the one who stole my sweatshirt. Like, and he's like, I'm never giving it back.
Yep.
And now Tim had a sweater that he always wore, and Tim called his sweater his power sweater.
Yep.
He had a weird affinity for this sweater, and he always wore it. And he's like, it was just so ingrained in his personality. He's like, this is my sweater, and this gives me my power. This is why I'm so charming. This is why I'm so funny.
It's his sweater.
Yeah. Everything that, like, it was Samson's hair, his sweater. It was his fucking whole, and I told him, if I don't get my sweatshirt back. I'm stealing your sweater, and you'll never get it back. And I'm like, and Tim's whole identity was ingrained in his sweater. Everything about him was part of the sweater, and he was so. It was a stupid sweater. It was just. Let me be honest. It was just a stupid sweater. Yeah. It was a blue and black salt and pepper like sweater, and it had a hole where he climbed a fence, and he had climbed a fence and it got snagged, and it had a hole in it, and he had patched it, and made it look almost new again, but it was tainted. But nonetheless, I said, and then in fact did steal that sweater, and for a period of time, I never took it off. Like, I mean, unless I was in the shower, and even if I was in the shower, I made sure that it was like
right there.
Mm-hmm. And for real, so the consequence of that is that I became very identified with that sweater because it was like I always suspected Tim was going to sneak up and steal it. He was going to just plot, and he was going to scheme. He was going to stalk, and he was going to get it. And so I wore it everywhere. And then over time, I started to, get it way more worn in and snag it. And so I started making little patches. At one point, the sleeve over here got completely shredded, and it was just nothing but threads.
It was awesome.
It was very worn. But then what I did was I took, on this side, I put a washcloth in this side as I restructured the sleeve and just sewed a washcloth in there. I cut cuffs off of a sweatshirt and then sewed them as new cuffs for the thing. And so it became a very patchwork thing over time, inside and out. Yeah. And so a lot of the sweater was no longer even there by the time it was
given.
Yeah. No, it was never given back.
Oh no!
Did
Fuck
you
that!
Get it back?
No.
Fuck that
Do
guy!
you still have the sweater?
No. I actually eventually just grew out of it. I finally was just like, I'm over it. Fuck it. I mean, it was a soiled rag by this point. Because the washcloth, I sewed a washcloth in there, and then I would use that washcloth to wash my face all the time. And I lived in this sweater, but and there's a couple pictures of it around.
It became a biohazard, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah. I have I have some rags now that need to be thrown out. They're old. They get soiled after a while. A garment can only take so much, or certain materials can only take so much washing and rewashing and drying and wear.
All the
and
goods.
It was also realistically unsightly. Like it was. Now
it made a homeless guy cringe. Homeless guy go, oh.
What is it? No, it was rad. It was really rad. And people built up lots of myths and funny stories about it. And I remember a few girls who they were starting a band called Potter Sweater, and just lots of little things like this. But yeah, no, I let it go. I just let it go. And someone who was mad at me at the time then found it and burned it in effigy. And it was like, fuck it. It's like, oh, cool, dude. I left it there. But yeah, it was Tim's power sweater. Also, it wasn't really mine, and I was only keeping it from him because he fucked me. He stole my fucking sweatshirt.
You turned its power sweater into a voodoo doll.
If nothing else, I took away his one thing, and yeah, he just fell to the dark side after that. Went away. We taught him a lesson.
Oh, he was fucking in the dark side big time.
Going back to your pants and stealing alcohol in your pants. Well, one time I had a friend who would wear a hamburger helper suit, like an actual costume, and go into QFC or something and fill up his hamburger helper suit with alcohol and run out of it. And I'm like, why didn't anyone catch on to that when it wasn't Halloween? That's what it made me think of.
That's
probably because you think you're.
Could you imagine
you're advertising
seeing someone
for the
walk down
something?
the street with a hand, a hand suit?
Well, that's why
that
we
was
can't
him.
go into the
That
store
was him,
anymore. Yeah.
and he wore that suit all the time.
You can't do that shit no more. And that's why.
Excuse me, sir.
That guy was the guy that ruined it for everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ruined it for everybody.
I don't think he ever got caught though.
Well, it
But
doesn't
that
matter
again,
because
still,
he still ruined it
we
for
can't trust
everybody
him
else.
now.
Yeah,
Trust guys
can't trust anybody in a hand costume.
Yeah.
You can't.
Gosh, that's just funny. I could just imagine someone driving down the street and seeing them.
Oh, that don't surprise me at all. People do shit like that at all.
Made our Halloween party fun.
I want to do things in my old wrestling mask, but I just don't. Because we live in a world where
No, you get shot.
Yeah.
Before you get it all the way on your face, you probably get shot with your luck.
The problem with my wrestling mask is that while it looks very cool in certain lights, in another light, the sparkles don't necessarily sparkle. So it's just a ski mask. And it's like, oh, that looks interesting.
Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah.
I know, we'll have to do a session with masks. I got all sorts of Star Wars masks. I got like that Chewbacca one that when you open the mouth, it goes.
Got a lot of hats myself, just a ton of hats. For some reason or another, I don't wear a lot of hats, but I've got so many of them. like about 20, 30 hats.
It'd be kind of interesting to be like, wow, what hat is Potter going to wear this week?
Yeah, well, I've got those
I would follow.
What is it? Well, we wore them on the drive back from Eugene that one time.
Oh, those are safari hats.
The safari hats.
Yeah. Oh God, I love that.
So you could wear a hat and then tell us a story of where you got the hat or a time when you had the hat on.
That's true.
Well, yeah,
that's
true.
Great.
Driving an oversized truck.
Driving
an oversized truck, 45 miles per hour on the I-5 with safari hats on. Everybody's passing. Zing, zing. That was us.
You were telling me that story not too long ago. I think like just a couple weeks ago. You were talking about that.
Might have been on the show even. Yeah.
No, this was after a show.
We were driving and he was just telling me a story about it.
Yeah.
That just
about how we had it all set up and shit. I was going down there. I'm driving this awesome truck home and stuff. It's gonna be all fucking styling. We got to zip up, zip back and shit. Ended up taking us fucking hours longer because
hours longer. We had to stop and stay in a hotel.
That's exactly how he said it.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That's just like
insane.
Oh my God, it's just like ridiculous. But I said it was an adventure, regardless. Nevertheless, it was an adventure.
And you'll never forget it.
No one got hurt. And
you had safari hats. And
we had safari hats. So, I mean, it's not like nobody knew, nobody didn't know that we're on a safari. So it's not like that big of a deal. We're on a safari, people. Just move along. Move along. We're on a safari.
It's obviously okay. They're on a safari.
I know.
These people are on fucking drugs.
Well, at this point in our life, we were surely on a lot less drugs than other times.
We were, yes. We were on a lot less drugs that time than any other time. We were.
I don't know. I'd kind of be questionable.
Yeah.
If I saw you guys
because I was driving, so I know that at most I was stoned at most, at most. So yeah. But yeah, those were days. Oh yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Well, there's other days like we would take a buddy of ours car. Every time he would go to work, we'd take his car off of this ramp.
Well, we would drive his car around all over the place, like as many miles as we could get. We would Ferris Bueller this car, just all over the place. He didn't seem to check his
we
mileage.
Put so much
really
mileage on that car.
And then we would, but yeah, there was 128th Street was first of all, this particular place, like there, you go down past Rogers High School, down 128th, there's a big hill, and then big hill up, and then a bunch of little hills. And there was one in particular that you could jump and just get a great jump on. And so we would go back and forth
turns.
And jump it. Yeah.
Jump this car.
Now
they have a light there. There's a light.
They do,
there
yeah.
So, because of us.
I mean,
we're the people that ruined it for everybody else.
I remember one day where I literally they started treating me a little funny after this. But I was psychic. I was just psychic because we went back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
and
I remember those.
I mean, we hit some great jumps that day. We had to just destroy that car suspension. But we're like one more, and we're going back to do one more, and we're about to go down the hill to go up the jump, and I'm like, don't do it. And Jason, who was driving, looked at me. I was like, "There's a cop," and as soon as I said "cop," he's like, off the gas. And he listened. He responded to that because he didn't fuck around with cops.
He knew better.
Smart.
And sure shit, we crested that hill at a nice, healthy, casual speed.
They probably saw you guys doing it 100
very
times.
No, they had
Someone-
heard.
Someone called
Yeah,
and
somebody
was like,
called.
hey,
Yeah.
there's some
Oh, yeah.
crazy kids being nuts.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that was us.
Yep, I used to get occasionally like these premonitions just like that. It's like,
Yep.
no, I don't want to go do that. I'm not going to go do that. Not gonna. And then these horror stories come back. It's like, oh,
Yep.
Sure should, but I didn't go.
Yep.
And I was telling her the other day about the story about when we were driving Jason's Mustang. We ended up high centered on that rock in that guy's yard.
Yeah. See, I thought it was me.
Could you hear that?
Yeah, I think it was me. This.
No, I'm hearing it too.
Yeah, that's weird.
So it's got to be somewhere in the
Connections.
yeah.
That's weird. Yeah, we were driving. Wasn't Jimmy driving? I think it was our friend Jimmy who might have been driving.
Jason was no. Jimmy was Jimmy was driving because we left him there. And then we went Then we went to Alan's house and we ate cereal and we hung out and started playing guitar. And then we realized, oh yeah, there's a reason why we're coming here. And then when we went back, there was cops there and a tow truck.
Yep.
Yeah,
It was super icy. Yeah, that night. That's weird. That we just heard a car honk. I guess that's out back. That's weird.
All right, well, it is too.
Let's check this out. We got to check this out.
What are we checking out? Car honk. Well, that had to be up there, coming from back there.
It was back there.
Yeah, it's coming through this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We're gonna go to cut the songs anyway.
yeah
All right.
let's go to music.
Let's cut
And then-
the songs.
Yeah, let's do that.
We don't need to see you. I mean, I understand your curiosity, but you're not gonna find anything. Other than
I know.
But a person with a
Yeah,
car.
but I'm just like my
Going
keys are
inside
in
a
my
building.
ignition.
Do you need to stop?
I'm so glad. Just take a peek. It's okay.
Okay, you can do anything, Chris. What? You can do anything you want.
I'm gonna. I'm Chris. I do what I want.
Oh my god.
You got caught red-handed with the shit. You definitely have to pay. You knew the rules, but you broke them anyways. Your death is certain, it will be slow. Their drugs are legal, but yours are not. Results the same, but none pity you. Can't master strength to change the law. Your history, no one can dispute it. The big green man is watching over you. On your knees with scissors in your hand. You cut the field one blade at a time. After the last is healed, you start again. Day and night, face 2 feet from the ground. You do because the man says so. You eat the grass to keep yourself alive. You don't obey, you get the needle. Prick in the back of your neck. You feel the poison fill your veins. Your motor responses react regardlessly. You're swimming your head with no control. The big green man is watching over you. On your knees with scissors in your hand. You cut the field one blade at a time. After the last is hewn, you start again. So you eat the grass to avoid the needle. You have no choice, and you accept that. The first time in your life you wanna die. It won't come soon, you're doomed to pain. The big green man is watching over you. On your knees with scissors in your hand. You cut the field one blade at a time. After the last is healed, you start again.
Knock, knock, bank, rock, tick tock on the clock, click, clop, pop. Yeah, sounds from a Glock got me all shocked. All from the shot, people drop like a sniper on the dot. Everybody gets the flop. Everybody call the cops, everybody drops. Everybody knows what's going on from the tops. Got supply weaponized spies, I will vaporize anything, any size. Do you dare to try and get a cash flow on a down low? Yeah, with a little bit faded. Lock and low, slap a hoe, now you know how my shit go. With the foe, fire like a crow, all black zone. Now I'm in my zone, doing drugs, what I love. Take a hit, pass it quick, am I really a safe for smoking on some strain that was pure flame? Take hits like a train, my shirt got ash stains. I'm higher than a plane, got late reactions. My brain can't do no fractions.
My brain can't do fractions. My brain can't do fractions. My brain can't do fractions. My brain can't do fractions. My brain can't do fucking fractions.
I like being outcast cause I outlast them. To see how long I can last until the relapse and the drugs catch up to my ass. And I have no class and the party's in the back. Everybody got fat racks and I do cause I got a big stack of the glass. All bitches are the pain, all hoes are the same. All bitches are the blame, all bitches are the game. And I have no shame when they call my name. Cause I got fame and a big gold chain. Bitches want the same but I got the same shit, gotta maintain. Cause I got a real gold chain stains that I pay when I work minimum wage. Sometimes it's the way's not a great taste since I lost the weight. Now I gotta move the weight and that's how you get really paid.
I can hear your song across the water. I can hear your song all day long. And there you are, singing your heart out. And here I am, just trying to get by. Hey, Lorelei, someday sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words will never hurt me. And sticks and stones may break my bones, but your song will never hurt me. Across the water, I can hear your song all day long. And there you are, singing your heart out. And here I am, just trying to get by. Hey, Lorelei, someday I'll come back for you. Hey, Lorelei, someday I'll come back for you. Hey, Lorelei, someday
down the book and start to define the contents of which used to be you. Now you're critiqued into something untrue. Skies that used to be high limit you now cause you didn't ask why. You willingly gave your directionless soul, then they fit you into a cat's list mold. Let's not yell. You've been sacrificed at the altar of the untrue. Modern Saint recreate. What will you? Don't let the fate procreate. You'll be Shepherd speaks, so do what you're told. Take your place right there in the flock. I guarantee all the slaughter block. Nameless land strung out by your shepherds. Follow the hood and join in the mass. Forfeit your will and your shattered self. What was you is now somebody else. Nothing's more existence without you. I've escaped before we found rank in you. They gave you the time and they gave you the place. You closed your eyes and they stole your face. They made you a throw with anonymous fate. Now they blanket you in this anonymous faith. Automaton, recapture yourself. Fish on the string of everyone It's not you! What a sacrifice that the altar of the untrue. Modern Saint recreate. What will you to let the fate procreate? The untrue. It's not you! Let's not you! The
Guess we should finish our show. Now she's just patiently
Then
waiting. She
then
doesn't care
become
now. Speed.
car thieves after that.
I peed. That's all I wanted.
What?
I said I peed. That's all I needed.
Oh, you're good now.
And I'm gambling on the phone.
All right.
Trying to win jackpots here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With just slots.
She's prepping for Vegas.
There's
She
some
wants to go to
fun
Vegas.
slots, man. There's some fucking fun slots. I mean, and again, they're just like video games, and that's what, there's not a lot of skill or any skill to almost any of them.
No.
But they can be fun. Games can be fun.
It's randomized and whatever.
There was a couple old ones that I used to like playing a lot, like this one called Battleship. That was like the game Battleship, and then Wheel of Fortune, which had a wheel.
Oh yeah, that one.
Wheel of Fortune was a good time. Jade Monkey, that was a pretty good one. I mean,
I like the buoy.
The lobster.
Lobster buoy.
Lobster Mania.
Lobster Mania. Oh,
I don't think
God,
I played
that's awesome.
Lobster Mania.
Everywhere we go, he looks for one.
Huh.
Throw this cage out, and then the fisherman pulls it up. Let's see what we got. And if he pulls out a giant lobster, then it's a bunch of points and
Yeah,
shit,
like
or little
$5,
lobsters.
$10, like easy. Cool.
I like the ones with lots of wins, like where they rack up like spins.
That's
like,
why this
Yeah.
one's just like, that's awesome.
Jade Monkey was a good one for that.
That's a good one, yeah.
I mean, I loved that one. Like, and like you could just tell when that one was introduced, like it had flocks of people around it. Like everything else died, and everyone wanted to be around that machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. What drove me away from it more than anything was just the amount of tweakers, because it's like just smoking all over the place, and well, actually, so that would be probably even more than the tweakers. It's the smoking, because every time I go and play a slot, I want to smoke. I just want to smoke and drink coffee. Have a good time. Smoke cigarettes. Maybe go out in the parking lot and get super stoned, and then come back and smoke some cigarettes.
Well,
and I'll smoke like a half pack of cigarettes while I fucking spend a few hours at the casino and just win $40 to $100 in slots, just very casually, relaxed. Yep. Or smoke one cigarette and lose my $10 and leave.
I don't smoke, but I like sitting in the smoking section. I love those sections. I like the smell of it.
Yeah, well, I don't smoke, but I would sure. I don't think I've been to play slots since I stopped smoking. And
I have a couple times.
yeah,
It's not. I find it easy. I don't know, but a lot of it is because I was done. I was ready to quit.
Oh yeah,
and
well,
I'm so done.
I'm very ready to quit too, but I still like cigarettes. I want one.
Yeah, I don't.
I like to have a drink when I do slots. I always have to have.
I like to smoke joints, so I don't know. That may be like a subconscious thing of that. But I don't miss cigarettes at all. I don't miss the taste. I don't miss anything that goes along with it. And so
well, while I say I want one, I know that as soon as I take a drag or two, I'm like, ooh, I don't want it. Yeah, I already know. And to have a cigarette, I would want a good cigarette, so I would probably buy a pack and have a half of a cigarette and be done and go, that was a waste of money.
I've done that many of times.
Yep.
Oh wow, that tripped me out. The fading in and out of that video.
Yep. There's a new Twilight Zone.
Is there?
Yeah. I
saw something on Facebook, and it was coming out in 2020. Was a new Back to the Future, but it was. I don't know. It's along. I don't know if it's the same or if it's different, because it's got who's the guy? Jim Carrey is the old man, and then there's a kid, but they find the time machine. They find the DeLorean time machine.
Could be interesting.
So I'm
Did you
trying.
just see this today?
No, I've seen it a couple times actually.
He was talking about it a week ago.
Well, I saw it a couple times, and I thought, okay, it's just like one of those fan things that they put up and stuff. And then I saw it again, and I was just like, man, I'm seeing this a lot.
Huh.
And so, yeah, and it looked just kind of cool. I mean, and the Jim Carrey character, you could tell it was Jim Carrey. And the way the makeup was done, it was cool. It was actually good. I mean, he looked like just an older guy, possibly a scientist, so blah, 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 apparently. And then just some random kid.
Alexa, is there a new Back to the Future movie coming out?
Let's find out. I don't have Alexa, I got Google. Yeah. And I don't have to say Google.
I just want to say things like that so that if people have Alexa, then their Alexa will go off and tell them.
Well.
Alexa, play random horror music. Let's see. Is there a new Back to the Future coming out?
No waiting. What's great is I can sample that and then I can play it different times later on, even when you're not here.
All right, Christopher.
Hey!
How long does it take? You
want to watch a video?
I don't want to watch a video. I just want the answer.
I'm trying to come up with the answer. I'm trying to see if this is the same one real quick.
As it is today, and you never know the difference because you never remember.
Yes or no?
Looks like it. Looks like kind of, they don't know how to drive. Oh wait, that is that? Oh, that's the older.
Yeah.
That's the older guy.
Chris gets too intrigued by things.
No, but this is Michael J. Fox, and yeah, this is different.
Okay, well, I put Jim Carrey back, and it says to the future.
So I don't think it's the Jim Carrey one's accurate. I don't think, because this is the other guy.
I think someone fooled the world.
Well, this is a while ago.
With these
I don't know.
fake
Right,
accusations.
Damn you, Facebook, and being false.
Oh.
I always believe you. What's going on here?
Facebook sucks. I said it.
You know what's even worse? The news sites on Facebook. So like Q13 on Facebook. They're the stories they give you are just stupid shit. You're just like going, what the hell?
So Britney Spears had her sixth child.
No,
Like, who cares?
we're talking worse than that. We're talking the stuff that you're just like going, what? You get paid for this? What?
Hey man, when like this goes back a ways, but like I just started noticing like when there were typos, so many typos in.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah,
like just that alone, like those were red flags, and I started going, you lost all credibility. Like your one fucking goal, your one objective is to be right about the way you spell shit.
And last night there was an article about the guy in Capitol Hill that slit someone's throat, and it was so badly written that you couldn't even read it. Like it made you stupid to try it. It's like looking for a Capitol man that slit while slitting man's throat. Like it was like, how could you mess up that bad?
Yeah, it gives you a headache
You are a
to
news
wrap your head around it.
Yeah.
Because you want to know what it says, but you have to.
And that was the second time in 2 days that they did it.
Yep.
Who's looking it over?
Nobody.
I know. I mean, these people, they make a really good living. Like they just do, and that happens. And so, nope. Now,
nobody cares about that shit.
Yep.
I mean, especially like Twitter. Look at some of that stuff you see on Twitter nowadays.
I don't have that.
You can tell nobody pays attention.
Now, yeah, Twitter's notoriously toxic and inflammatory. There's just like it's a hit and run place where people can just go zing zing zing, and basically anonymously. So that's a large part of it. But it can be useful too. They all can be useful, but they're all problematic in different ways. Like Instagram, for instance. Okay, like it's a lot of short stories. I know that you can have like long stories, but it's a lot of just clips and increments, and like the same with like a lot of YouTube culture is deteriorated into just bites, and you know, that's fine, and to an extent that can be usable, but to cater to that and focus on that is cultivating a shorter attention span. And that is part of the problem, is that, like they say, oh, kids have a short attention span, or this generation has a short attention span, so we will give them what they want. But that isn't helping things, actually. Maybe if you were to refocus things, and so, like, I mean, okay, you know, not to, you know, wax nostalgic or say that we were better or did things, but the fact that we didn't have as many distractions, and we were able to sit down and focus on, like, an album, for instance, you know, and sit down with nothing to distract us but an album cover and lyrics and the things that had to do with that album, and then we would immerse ourselves in that. And so, and actually having limited time, or at least sometimes in your life where you can be detached from it, and I'm actually a big advocate of detaching from technology periodically, at least for a little bit a day or a week or whatever, because it is so distracting and it is not real. And so we can get so easily caught up in it emotionally in one way or another, even if that's fucking wrong. You're doing it wrong. How'd you do that? How could you make such a mistake?
Speaking to Christopher this week, because he's been talking about how it pisses him off. He gets all mad. I'm like, well, take a break. You know, because it's not worth it. You gotta clear your mind.
The only, it's like the way I have to use Facebook is like a catch-22, because I need it to promote what's going on with what, you know, the club and everything like that, and to figure out if, you know, if anybody has questions for me about upcoming shows, they want to get a hold of Pete, or they want to get a hold of me, questions about this or that or recording or whatever. I need it for that, but at the same time, you know, and then I went the route of kind of just not following people, having them as friends, but not following them. So I'm not seeing all this stuff, and I would have just like basically cute cat pictures, science fiction pictures, stuff like that, than the news. Well, now the news is just a bunch of fucking just stupid, just garbage. And I'm just like, oh my god, it's worse than watching other people's stuff. So it's just like, I'd rather watch, you know, Jason Van Ness, and watch his stream than watch, you know, all the news streams all together.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yeah. Hi, Jason. I'm gonna tell you that I mentioned you in the show. And I got you wind chimes that I promised I would get you too. He hates wind chimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're right over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, bud.
Yeah.
We're thinking of you.
Yeah, thinking of you. Got you.
Yeah, so, like Twitter, for instance, I use Twitter. I'm starting to use it now more for MAWP, but I've used it for, like, when I was into cards, and I was very specific about how I used it and how I interacted with people on it, because I've seen the toxicity as it manifests on other social media, like Facebook, for instance. And, like, this is not unique to Facebook or the internet or anything. Like, before there were these social media sites like Facebook, there were other ways that people would congregate online. And a lot of them were games. Like, for instance, I played a game earlier around the turn of the century, and in the first few years of the century, and there were thousands of people on there, like thousands and thousands of people on there, sometimes at once. And so there was just a massive, intense community of people interacting all the time. So, like, the forums on that place was hopping, and the chat was sort of hopping. It's harder to follow chat and hard to be as invested in chat, but if you really get into a chat and learn how to follow it. There's a lot of comedy. There's a lot of unique comedy and fun that go on in chat. There's a lot of drama too, just like anything. But the forums on those places in the old days was where all the action was, which is basically what Facebook is a forum that's just feeding down your shit. So, and I was early on in like my gaming in this community. Like I emerged first as a good gamer, and then the game that I played, it migrated to this different game. That was the one that had the huge fan base. So the original one that I played was big when it started, but it just deteriorated. It was probably getting shut down by Pokemon as I learned things more now. A lot of knockoff games were just derivatives of Pokemon, and Pokemon just came in and shut them down. So no, we own this stuff. We can't do this. But so this other game that I played had this giant fan base, and I was just someone who played the game, and I was just some modest player, and I wasn't that great at the game, but I kind of got active on the forums over time and got better at the game as time went on. And there was a certain point where some big controversy emerged in these forums. Just people started getting heated, and this whole fucking community was starting to get torn apart by this thing. And I started reading these threads, and it started emerging on a couple different threads, and I started reading what was going on and seeing this pattern of behavior in a certain group of people and how they were being kind of inflammatory themselves. These certain people were driving it, feeding it, causing it, and then playing the victims. And I was like, that's weird. And so I started addressing it, and I started just narrating it. I started making posts saying, well, this person's doing this, and this person's saying this, and this person actually here. This person's actually the innocent victim, because they were just making a comment in the first place. I started doing this, basically doing what the moderators were supposed to be doing. And then I came into a great deal of fire because of it. Then I was like, oh, you're siding with them. You're one of them. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, actually, no. I'm just doing this and this and this and this. And then they started accusing me of breaking rules. And they're like, you're breaking this rule. You're flaming me. You're doing this. And you're basically like, slandering me and doing all this shit. And I was like, no, I'm not. If you go and look at the rules, this is what I'm doing. And I'm doing this all within the rules. And so I caused an even bigger controversy. And then what ended up happening is in the heat of all this, as the whole game was tearing apart because of this shit, and a few people were getting banned, and I wasn't, but they were getting banned because of stuff that they were reacting to me and talking about. Yeah, because
you were going by the rules.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And then, in the midst of all this, the staff came to me, some of the moderators, the head moderator and a couple of them, and they're like, do you want to be a moderator? And I'm like, no, not really.
It's stressful.
Why? It's just like, and I kind of actually felt they were setting me up. Like, it's like, what's going on here? And they're like, no, you just handled that all really well. Like, this is like, you were in the right, and you didn't overreact, and you handled it well, and that's like, that's what moderation is. And so they kind of sold me on it, and I did end up becoming a moderator. But that act did have a polarizing effect, and like a continuously the game quit when I became a moderator. They're like, oh, fuck this. Fuck this. This is how it's gonna be.
We can't get away with fucking starting shit anymore. This ain't no fun.
But to be fair, as it was did unfold, they were not the best people in that community, and it was well regarded as that's for the best. Let them go. Let them go.
They're better off dead.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily say go and call out everything and address everything, but that's even on Facebook what I try to do. And what happens a lot with me is that I will just comment on things sometimes, and it's not that I'm trying to start shit or inflame anything. I'm actually trying to end a thing. Actually,
well, a lot of times, well, I've noticed that you're bringing a different angle to it.
I try.
Yeah, and some of them you could tell you're agreeing with it, and you're also showing just another aspect of why it's right. Yeah. Or you'll kind of show, well, that's true, but there's also this. So every time you comment, I'm just like, oh, okay, what's you gotta say? And then there's the people that say shit that I'm just like,
well, and it's not like I expect anyone or everyone to agree with anything.
Our fish.
Yeah, no one's going to agree with everyone, and no one's going to agree with everyone all the time, and no one's going to like everyone all the time. And you'd be surprised how many people you fucking hate that you might not always hate. You know, might grow to like them, and some people you might like, and then you might grow to not like so much. And it can vacillate back and forth, even a couple of ways, back and forth and back and forth. And you know, you can come to a conclusion that's. It's got a good beat to it. That's just their way. That's just how they are. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. There's ghosts in the machine.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should try. Well, the only thing I could think of, maybe it's a power thing, because I mean it's hooked up to the power.
Yeah.
And then next time we'll just try. I'll put batteries in and try the batteries and see if it does the same thing.
Huh. All right.
So yeah, because you might just need to put that on a separate power.
You put that over there. Thank you.
Well, we probably have a giant packed show.
Yes, we do.
So we could probably just wrap it up for the day.
All
We
right.
want to thank everyone for listening and watching our show and supporting local music. And you can find links to the bands in the descriptions down below. And you can follow those bands and buy their merchandise and go to their shows if they're still existing, because they aren't all. That's just, you know, we play bands from all throughout time.
And we're gonna have stuff too pretty soon.
We'll
We're
have some
working on
things.
something that could connect you to us in a more personal level.
We have a few projects in the works.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Stick around.
Yep. Thanks a lot. And until next week.
Bye.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Now we're gonna be car thieves. After
Think about it. Fucking sell out.
Turn on the radio and take a listen. Ask kissing, corporate submission. What I am bringing, it won't get rotation. Road Nation, until they put more real shit in. But then again, I'm a grin, don't you pretend, man. You're down with my scene. Check yourself, take a step back, dig it. It's not a threat, but I can promise one thing. Turn it down, cause I've had too much. Turn it down, but it won't shut up. Turn off that bullshit. Turn off that motherfucking radio. Turn off that bullshit. Turn off that motherfucking radio. Turn off that bullshit. Turn off that motherfucking radio. Turn off that bullshit. Turn off that motherfucking radio. Turn on the radio and hear what they're playing. Where's the feeling? I'm straight tripping, can you feel me? What I am saying, gotta bring that beat back. Who's really bleeding? My brother, sister, and my best friend. It's not a threat, but I can promise one thing. Turn it down, cause I've had too much. Turn it down, but it won't shut up. Turn off that bullshit. Turn off that motherfucking radio. Turn off that bullshit. Turn off that motherfucking radio. Turn off that bullshit. Turn off that motherfucking radio. Turn off that bullshit. Turn off that motherfucking radio. Don't impress me. Should I just sell out? Mold me like you see me. Build me up and you tear me down. Ride me like a contract, like an empty promise. Turn it down cause I've had too much. Turn it down but it won't shut up. Turn off that bullshit. Turn off that motherfucking radio. Turn off that bullshit. Turn off that motherfucking radio. Turn off that bullshit. Turn off that motherfucking radio. Turn off that bullshit.
Venus, if you will, please send a little girl for me to thrill. A girl who wants my kisses and my arms, a girl with all the charms of you. Venus, make her fair, a lovely girl with sunlight in her hair, and take the brightest stars up in the skies and place them in her eyes for me. Venus, goddess of love that you are, surely the things I ask can't be too great a task. Venus, if you do, I promise that I always will be true. I'll give her all the love I have to give, as long as we both shall live. Venus, goddess of love that you are, surely the things I ask can't be too great a task. Venus, if you do, I promise that I always will be true. I'll give her all the love I have to give, as long as we both shall live. Hey Venus, oh Venus, make my wish come true.
You know I got a crush on you. Your mother and my mother are sisters. It goes, I'm dying.
Come round, broken down, I'm trying to stay alive for now. Like that lemon boy, we making noise, we turning lives around. Wanna be a star, go hella far, fuck egos that are loud. Make my mama proud, from here on out, we rockin' every crowd. Round, broken down, I'm trying to stay alive for now. Like that lemon boy, we making noise, we turning lives around. Wanna be a star, go hella far, fuck egos that are loud. Make my mama proud, from here on out, we rockin' every crowd. Bad rap, stacking stress, stashing secrets in the wall. Boy, I'm pushing through depressions, knew the city's on the move. Got my Dax and Lemon, but nobody's better than Liam. Bring it back where you at, I gotta push this rap, no backtrack. Brown windows down, I'm trying to stay alive for now. Like that lemon boy, we making noise, you turning lives around. Wanna be a star, go hella far, for egos that are loud. Make my mama proud, from here on out, we rockin' every crowd. Better than enough, cause I don't wanna be a fake. Grab my own and I got a new break. Bring it up, saying I see ya. Stack it up, wrap it up, dodge your Prius. I am alone, you wanna be me, I'm just running from my family. Running up, back it up, please. Pack it up, never at ease. I'm a man, not your plan. He had nothing, so I ran. He's not me, won't ever be. Fuck your mental tendencies. Lost a home, now alone. So it seems I'm way too prone. Split apart, wanna dart. Gotta do this on my own. Pack your bags, we're dipping out to LA or one way out. Rock the stage, full of rage, coming out, rocking out, time is now. Ever made the same, had to stop and be contained. Making it better as you age, to the top we stop and reign. Top of the stop, don't compare, now don't you dare. Racking up not, we just working, you can glare. Making a lot, we get by but just to spare. Making our way to the top, no kid genius came prepared. Come round, broken down, I'm trying to stay alive for now. Like that lemon boy, we making noise, we turning lives around. Wanna be a star, go hella far, fuck egos that are loud. Make my mama proud, from here on out, we rockin' every crowd. Round, broken down, I'm trying to stay alive for now. Like that lemon boy, we making noise, we turning lives around. Wanna be a star, go hella far, fuck egos that are loud. Make my mama proud, from here on out, we rockin' every crowd. Come round, broken down, I'm trying to stay alive for now. Like that lemon boy, we making noise, you turning lives around. Wanna be a star, go hella far, fuck egos that are loud. Make my mama proud, from here on out, we rockin' every crowd.
to blame. I decide to walk away. She decides splash water in their face. Don't let it affect you. I let it affect me. Don't let it affect you. I let it affect me. They have our picture with no permission. They have our picture. Maybe I gave them the idea. Mine to blame.